Hello and welcome. This is the world where I come from. And look where we are now. A world of $160 billion. A world completely different. You've got the social network, the virtual competition, and the cloud gaming. But not only, at least you've got the virtual purchase. I think when everything becomes virtual, the last physical link is peripherals, accessories. I am Lionel Chataignier from Pixminds, and I'm proud and very happy to present my accessories, my brand. And for that, let me introduce not only my best player, but my general manager, Hugo Loi.
Thank you, Lionel. And thanks everyone for being here today with us. So indeed, as Lionel said, peripherals are the last physical link to our more and more virtual world. And Pixminds is a manufacturer of award-winning peripherals of all sorts for the next generation of gamers. And in today's 10-minute keynote, we're gonna see what kind of interesting challenges we can find in the gaming world, how these challenges affect the gaming experience 360, and how we can take all of those lessons to a more efficient and more gamified world in a variety of different industries. So first, about the challenges. To find relevant challenges, we need to take a look at the gamers themselves. So this is the gamer. And what is most important to the gamer is the game they're playing. Because gamers play a variety of different games on several different platforms. But if you take a look at the most played games out there, there's one striking thing. All of them are online. There's no offline games anymore. If you take just one apart, then all the rest is competitive. In those games, only the fastest players, the most accurate players, the most performant players stand out and win the game. This is performance-based gaming. So in this world, everyone is looking for performance, only performance. But what is performance? Performance happens when a player takes significant action on their peripheral, and when this action results into a plan they had beforehand, usually shooting at someone on the internet. But the peripheral's friction and lack of control, as well as the game system's latency, can come in the way and make a good action into a losing player. Friction, control, and latency. Those are the three big challenges to address today in the gaming industry. And those also are kind of the secret recipe to the growth behind the Pixminds brands. And all of those challenges can be addressed with peripherals, using new materials such as ceramic to fight friction better, using new components that you craft onto existing peripherals to give more control to the players, and to build more computing capabilities to solve problems such as latency. More computing capabilities in a peripheral such as a mouse or a controller grant 30 to 50 milliseconds latency gain without having to spend a single euro on stuff such as new infrastructure or servers.
Yes, Hugo, you're right. But the breadth of gaming experience is a little bit different. Now you have to purchase. And before playing, you have to connect. Connect on a huge world, a lot of different gamers all over the world. After that, with all of that, you belong to a community, a huge community. And finally, you create what? A lot of different things. Music, world, story, history, memory.
Is correct. That is entirely correct. And each of the steps that Lionel mentioned is part of the gaming experience, has incredible depth, and is a wonderful opportunity for the gaming industry. Let's take the purchase experience, for instance. There's a world of difference between a, let's say, standard consumer purchase experience and a gaming purchase experience. We've been working on that topic with a major PC manufacturer, a world major, and they had a problem that is very common in the ITC industry, which is you have a brand with many different SKUs and you want people, consumers, clients, players to explore your brand, right? And to discover the different SKUs. And they try to sort the SKUs by price, by features, by size, all right? But there's not a single sorting that satisfies everyone. So what we did with them is getting back to the source, to the player himself. And what is most important for the player, which is the game they want to immerse themselves in. So we crafted an experience as an application. And the first question we asked the players is, what game are you most looking forward to play? And when they got to answer, then the rest of the experience was driven by a character from their favorite game. And believe me, you cannot find a better sales rep than a game character. This guy is going to beat any store manager pretty much out there. And then the game character asks the player not about the features they want to have or the price of the setup they want to have, but about the experience they wish they had. Do they prefer to play as a team or as a solo player, and so on. And from this model of their desired experience, then it's way easier to compute a perfect setup or to craft a, let's say, dedicated experience for that consumer to explore several SKUs that correspond to the setup that will enable this desired experience. For instance, team play preferred means you need a good quality mic, okay? Competition, gameplay, means you don't need like the best graphics, but you need low latency. And then short sessions of gameplay means you got no time to lose in hard drive loading. So you need the fastest hard drive you can. And this knowledge about the consumer both makes a better experience for the consumer to explore your brand and also generates tremendous leads that you can get online as an online application or in store, because we also implemented that as a tactile experience on a point of sale cabinet. So we've seen how the purchase experience is a wonderful opportunity in terms of purchase experience inside of the gaming world that players live. We've seen also how we can address the playing challenges, like technology-wise with peripherals, with the purchase we've just seen. But there's no magical recipe to connection. You need players to meet other players before they can have a good community to play. Okay, maybe the one thing we can, remember from that is there's no better occasion than real live events for players to meet other players. This is where the community is built. Okay, and this is where manufacturers should participate. In terms of belonging, there are also peripheral solutions. Each player needs to find their gaming style, their colors, their skins, so military skin, sci-fi skin, and so on. And finally, to create more content, more musics, more models for the community to use, as manufacturers, we all have a mission to provide more content creation devices that will help players navigate in 3D environments to create this new content.
We recrafted gaming experience. Now we will see the gamification of education, of sale, of content creation.
There is a huge opportunity in dressing work tasks as games. Seeing things as a game creates a desire to perform for yourself and for your team. It makes people give all they got, which is key for tasks such as sales. Gamification also leaves room for error and progress, which makes people learn faster. Games make you enter a new environment with new words, new methods, which is the perfect mindset for activities as education. There is no game without a score. Games pave the way for a metric framework, and these metrics will help students and their teachers, employees and employers in education, in sales forces, and even more creative domains. Of course, immersive environments help, but gamification is primarily a perspective that you can choose to take with your students, your team, your kids. Just by saying the words, "Let's play a game," you will remind them that to win, first you have to play.
We are at the end of this keynote now. As we saw, gaming is performance, but performance make beautiful story, and story make history. For conclusion, I just want to say
that to win in any area, first, you have to play.
Thanks for watching, and thanks to Elzo for inviting. Thank you.
We'll be ready for any questions now.
Thank you, guys. That was really, really interesting, and it opened, I think, at least my mind, and I'm sure the audience's mind, to that gaming is not just about the game. There is a lot of business opportunity there as well, and you've given us kind of a glimpse into that. And following that, there was one interesting question, which is, do you think the distribution model of peripherals is going to change too?
So is the distribution model of peripherals going to change too? What do you think, Lionel?
Yeah, sure. It's definitely different today. We saw a huge world of different peripherals for a lot of different machines or console, but at this moment, the world is changing. I can say the players are not like before. The player usually got 10 fingers, but I think we can speak about 20 fingers. It's for this reason. The model of peripherals have to change to be strong, to be more efficient.
Yeah, and to adapt.
Yeah. Yeah,
to the new model of gaming. Yeah, that is correct. Maybe in particular, I think there will be huge adaptation to the cloud gaming model.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peripherals will at some point be sold as services, as a subscription model. And that will too, for not only for the distribution, but also for manufacturers, it will be a big game changer because there will be huge topics such as reverse logistics in terms of subscription. Replacing warranty models for peripherals, for instance, with a subscription model will, give an incentive to manufacturers to make better with a longer lifespan peripherals, for instance. So
yes, at the end of the keynote, you say if you want to win, you have to play.
Yep.
I just would like to add something. You have to play, but different. With more efficiency. More efficient, you have to use a different peripherals. Perhaps we can speak about human-machine interface, something like that, For this reason, we create all these brands.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. There are two questions which I think you would love to answer. The first one is, and it's a very relevant one for the channel, how big is the market in Europe?
How big is the market in Europe? That's a good question. In terms of hardware, it is like huge. European players spend a lot. They spend premiums on peripherals and currently computing hardware. More than Asians and pretty much equivalent, a little more than the United States, we would say. In terms of content, there's a pivot, there's a tilt, though. European players like to spend premiums on very good games in Europe, whereas in Asia, for instance, you'll see more mobile gaming spending.
Yeah, but in fact, it's 20 years, 30 years, you've got three huge markets in all over the world. You've got the Asian, of course, with Japanese for the console. You've got from the US, and Europe perhaps was the third. Now it's a little bit different. Europe, USA, Asia. I think the future will be great for the gaming world because it's definitely deeply here.
Yeah.
And we have to use with this market, of course.
All right, thank you. For the answer to the next question, I will limit your time to 5 minutes because the question is, how large is your portfolio?
Oh, wow. 5 minutes only, huh?
Yes, no more.
So you have to be quick.
All right. So our portfolio mainly is composed of PC peripherals and console peripherals, okay, under the brands Lexip and StillPlay. Okay, all of that won a number of awards in Germany, in the USA, in Europe, in France, and so on. We can say maybe that where StillPlay is a great, value for a small basket for the client, Lexip is really the innovative brand with stuff you're not gonna see anywhere else, right? No. And so that's the main part of the business at Pixminds. And there's also, a technology business at Pixminds where we develop a number of patents and licenses, right? Which are not, it's not mandatory that we manufacture the devices that come from them. So this giant touchscreen is one example, right? Patented worldwide by Pixminds. We also have the cloud gaming latency reduction technologies we mentioned earlier in the keynote. And a number of other things, including the arcade cabinet that you see at the beginning of the keynote. Did I forget anything, Lionel?
Just to add some word about the team from Pixminds. I think you've got two teams. The team will be perhaps intelligent, quite to create StillPlay, to make more value, to find a large target, a large public. Yeah. And the second one, you know perfectly what I want to explain, Hugo. You got the crazy guy who want to change, who try to change. It's for this reason you've got several brands like Lexip and StillPlay on the arcade, as you want, on the this incredible tactile screen. Perhaps it's for this reason we've got a large, in fact, a large and different portfolio between our brands.
Yep, correct. Correct. And maybe on the quantitative side, for anyone willing to work with Pixminds through Also, because now this is a strategic partnership that we're very happy to have. We got 80 SKUs on StillPlay and 10 and growing on Lexip.
At this moment.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks for your discipline, guys. There is one more question, which is very concrete regarding the product. And that's, you have been talking a lot about latency, Hugo. So the question is, how does your latency reduction technology compare to Google Stadius? Are you willing to answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. We will be able to answer only partially because Google Stadia never released the complete version of the cloud gaming latency reduction they announced back in 2019, I believe. So two things between the cloud latency reduction we developed, we patented, and Google's. The first one is ours will yield better results as far as we know. As far as we know, right? Because we never know what they got in the drawers, right? But ours is based on the data. It's purely edge computed, all right? It's only encoded into the peripheral, and it's based on the kinematic data of, human kinematics, right? Pretty much when you start a movement, we're able to tell where it's gonna end. And this allows us to send in advance data in order to reduce the cloud latency. And the second item is, Google is a very big company. We're a smaller company, right? So we have a much cheaper solutions. They have, they include servers, they include networks and so on. Our solution only includes peripherals, right? Just by using the peripherals we developed, you can reduce the latency 30 to 50 milliseconds without having to spend a single euro on servers or new networks, which is huge.
Correct. That comes from the crazy gaming team.
Yeah, that's the crazy part of the team.
Correct, Hugo.
Thanks, guys. These are really impressive figures in every respect. So these were the questions that our audience had for the moment. Thanks a lot for your time, and it was a pleasure to have you, and it's really fun working with you. Thanks, Hugo and Lionel.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.